Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome everyone to the Sunday Love Feast program. We are just few days away from one of our most important festival of the year, which is Sri Krishna Janmashtami. So, Nilamani Prabhu asked me to talk something related to Janmashtami festival. At the same time, I had one more request today, because as you know, today our youth they are cooking the Sunday feast for the first time. So they kind of indirectly told me, not directly, that whatever I give, whatever I speak today, it should complement the Italian feast which they are cooking. So I had two different requests. I was thinking what to do. But anyway, I thought today we'll focus more on the Krishna's sweet pastimes in Vrindavan, so that we can get ready for his appearance day on Wednesday. Sri Krishna Janmashtami Mahostav ki Jai. So, what I will do is I will speak about some of the pastimes of Krishna's in Vrindavan. You can say stories, but these are not like mundane stories like Harry Potter or we grew up in India with Chandamama. Not like that. These actually pastimes are narrated by our acharyas, especially Raghunath Das Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Prabhupada has mentioned many of these pastimes in his lecture, and his disciples, especially His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami, His Holiness Bhakti Rasamdal Swami, Sachinandan Swami, many of them, they narrate these stories. So these are not like just made up stories. So we'll try to get into the pastimes, some of these pastimes, and ultimately, these pastimes when you hear, there is something we can learn. There is a wisdom. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, whenever I quote the words right, if you know it, please chant with me, that will be nice. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what is that? Janma karma chami divyam yevam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma maiti mameti swarjana. If you know my appearance, janma, and activities in truth, not just as just a story, then when you leave this body, you will go back to the body. Simple. In truth, if you understand. So whatever pastime we are trying to learn today, we'll try to learn some wisdom, some learning from that, so that we can get into the mood of Vrindavan. So how many of you have been to Vrindavan? Most of you. But if you have not been, you should try to. Do you believe that Vrindavan is a holy place, like a holy tirtha? How many of you believe? Yes. Good. Very nice. Actually, yes. But Vrindavan is not just a holy place. It's not just a tirtha. Vrindavan is the home of Lord Krishna. There is a difference between holy place. Of course, it's a holy place, but it's much higher than the holy place because it's a abode of Krishna. And this is not which is like material world. It has come all the way from the spiritual world. So Vrindavan is a very special kind of a position. Once what happens is Narad Muni, as you know that, he always chants on his Veena, Narayan, Narayan, or Lord Hari's name. And he lands in a place which is called the King of all holy places. Does anyone know which is called King of all holy places?
Radhakund.
Yes, that is Gaudiya Vaishnava's answer. But in general, what is considered the king of all holy places? Prayag. That's why Krishna gave the name to Prayag as Tirtharaj or Prayagraj. So you must be knowing, right? Now the Allahabad is called Prayagraj because it's not just an ordinary name. Krishna personally gave Prayag as Tirtharaj. So Narad Muni, when he comes, the Prayag, the personification of Prayag. When we say Prayag, it's not just the land with auto rickshaws and other things. There is also a person behind it. when you talk about Himalayas, when we talk about Chandra or moon, there's a person behind it. And this person, you cannot just go take a rocket or land and get some trace of water or sulfur and say, I have reached to the moon. That's not the thing. There is actually a different dimension where all these our scriptures talk about. So Prayag also, there is a personification of Prayag. His name is Prayag Raj or Tirth Raj. So he invites Narad Muni, and Narad Muni was so happy to be invited. And after, sometime Narad Muni tells the Prayag Raj, everyone tells you that you are the king of all the Tirthas or Prayag Raj, but I have my doubt. Prayag says, what? You don't believe I am the king of all holy places? He said, no. They say, why? Then Narad Muni says, if you are a king of all the holy places have to come and pay their obeisances or respects to you. Do everyone do it? And Prayag says, yes, that's what my king position is. But Narad Muni says, no. There is one holy place he never comes to you, and that is Vrindavan. Vrindavan is such a small place, such a small holy place, but Vrindavan never comes to you. That means Vrindavan must be having some special position. Now Prayagraj was in anxiety. Oh my God, my position is gone now because I am no more a Prayagraj. So what to do? So Prayagraj actually prays to Lord Krishna, and Krishna appears and he asks the same question. Why Vrindavan is not coming to me and paying respects? Krishna was actually suddenly goes into ecstasy as soon as he hears the name of Vrindavan, and then finally comes out of this, comes back to his external consciousness and tells Prayag, you know what? I have made you the king of all the holy places, but I have never made you the king of my home. There's a difference. He said, holy place is different in my home. So in other sense, Krishna tells Prayag, from today onwards, you start serving Vrindavan because you will be serving me. So that is the position of Vrindavan. That's why Srila Prabhupada wanted us to visit, especially those who are in ISKCON, following, visit Vrindavan on a regular basis. Vrindavan has more than 5,000 temples dedicated to Lord Krishna. 5,000 temples. Can you imagine the potency of that land? As soon as you reach Vrindavan, I'm sure many of you feel that, oh, I have reached home, isn't it? And when you have to leave, you feel so bad. That is the specialty of Vrindavan. So, does that mean anyone can enter Vrindavan? Or is there some qualification is required? Yes, there is some qualification, prerequisite required to reach Vrindavan, and Narottam Das Thakur explains this in one of his bhajans. So please, if you know, chant with me. Vishaya Chariya
Kabe Shuddha Bemana Kabe Amahe Rabo Shri Vrindavana.
He said, when the mind is, this is a requisite, when the mind is completely purified of what? Completely purified of two things, being freed from material anxiety and material desires. If our mind is purified from these two things, Narottam Das Thakur says, you can enter Vrindavan. Is that easy? No? You can pass SAT exam, you can pass so many exams, but this one is tough. But Narottam Das Thakur, there is an easy way to do that, and he immediately tells in the next verse, and that is Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akuti Kabe Hama Bhujabo Sejugala Piriti. He says, if we take the shelter of our Goswamis, especially Raghunath Das Goswami and Rupa Goswami, simply take the shelter of them and you will be qualified. They will take care of it. So that is what Prabhupada has brought us. So we should be thankful to Srila Prabhupada for bringing this. Now, with our material qualification, material position, wealth and beauty and whatever qualities, we cannot enter Vrindavan. So there is another pastime for us. And this is related to the king of Mathura, so-called king of Mathura, Kamsa. Kamsa was quite a powerful man. And he was thinking one day, I have sent so many of my friends, who are demons, to Vrindavan and to kill Krishna, but all I hear is my friends are getting killed. So it is not fair. So it's time that I enter Vrindavan and take care of this Krishna. So Kamsa leaves Mathura and goes towards Vrindavan. And some of you might know, on the way from Mathura to Vrindavan, towards when you come to closer to the Vrindavan, there is a place called Badrikashram. This is not that Badrikashram, but in Vrindavan itself. So Kamsa, as soon as he reaches that Badrikashram, he sees an old lady and a young lot of gopis playing around. So he comes and asks this old lady, where is Nanda Maharaja's home? Because I want to see. Not that he wants to see his home, he wants to kill Krishna. And this old lady says, oh, you want to see Krishna? And this, by the way, pastime was narrated by His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami, wonderful. And he says, you want to see Krishna? Fine. So this old lady stands up and she holds the long hair of Kamsa. Kamsa is a Kshatriya. And Kshatriyas generally they have a long hair. It's kind of it kind of protects their head. And they put like a big jata on the top. It's like a shock absorber, so that whenever they fall. So she's old lady, she catches his hair and there is a small kunda or pond and he puts Kamsa directly into that pond. So quite a powerful lady. As soon as Kamsa gets into the pond, comes out, it turns into an old lady with wrinkled skin and like hunchback and this. And all these young girls who are around, they start laughing and what happened to this Kamsa? And this old lady who put Kamsa, she's none other than Yogamaya, who's Purnamasi. Yogamaya is also person, right? So Purnamasi. So she tells these young girls, please engage this old lady Kamsa in some service. And the girls are saying, this lady is useless. She cannot even stand up. What can we do? And finally these girls, they decide and say, okay, one thing we can do in Vrindavan, there are a lot of cows, there are a lot of cow dungs. We'll ask Kamsa to make cow dung patties, cow dung cakes. Because that's used for cooking and heating and other things. And Kamsa, and they bring a lot of cow dung, and Kamsa with all his strength, he could not even lift a little bit of cow dung to make a patty. And then finally these young girls, they say, you are useless, just get out of Vrindavan. So now Kamsa coming again, touching the feet of Purnamasi and saying, please let me go back to Mathura because I don't want to build this Vrindavan, please take me back. And Purnamasi takes Kamsa again back into the pond. Back is Kamsa and Kamsa runs back to Mathura. So this is what a qualification means. So Purnamasi is there a gatekeeper. And if we are not, if we don't have that purification or if you don't have a faith in Krishna, then Purnamasi will somehow make sure that you are right there on the Vrindavan. I personally know many of my classmates, they live in New Delhi, for many years. They are very successful. And whenever I tell them, why don't you visit Vrindavan? They say, we are too busy. And people from America and Europe and everybody, we go to Vrindavan, but they cannot. Why is that? Because the qualification, if it is not there, Purnamasi makes sure that you are stopped at the entrance of Vrindavan. But because of Prabhupada, all of us are qualified. Let's take advantage of this. And next time when you go to India, please make sure that you visit Vrindavan. Alright, again these pastimes are not in chronological order, so I'm just going to take one after the other till the 6 o'clock and then I'll stop. Okay? So next pastime is about the speciality of the devotees in Vrindavan. We just talked about Vrindavan, but what type of devotees are there in Vrindavan, right? So this happened in Nandagaon. So Nandagaon, once there was a young gopi, newly married, she moves to Nandagaon. And she had heard about Krishna so much, about his pastimes, so many things about his qualities, but she never had an opportunity to meet Krishna. So she is newly married, comes to Nandagaon. And one day, morning, she hears the beautiful sound of the flute. And she realizes, this must be Krishna. Now I should go and see Krishna. See, in Nandagaon, the way it is Krishna, every morning he will go to the forest with the flute, and there is a big festival, and the evening he comes back, there is a big festival. So, Prabhupada says that in Krishna consciousness, there is no it's not like a boring. Every day can be festival. So, like Nandagaon was like that. So, as soon as this young gopi who is newly married, she hears the flute sound, she tells to her mother-in-law, I want to go down on the royal path, stand there and take the darshan of Lord Krishna. But her mother-in-law says, no way. If you go to that royal path today, you will be bitten by that black snake. Don't go. Who is this black snake? She said, don't go. There's a black snake. Then this gopi says, but I saw your daughter. She went. And mother-in-law says, wow, but she knows how to handle the black snake. By and large, mother-in-laws are very nice, right? I'm looking at this side of the crowd. But this was an exception here. And she said that you cannot go. But after some time, this gopi had so much desire that she forget it. And as soon as the mother-in-law was somewhere else, so she just sneaks out and goes on the royal path, and there is a small bush, and she hits behind the bush to take the darshan of Krishna. And Krishna's party comes with all the bugles and drums and kartals and so many things, and people are dancing. But Krishna is an antaryami. He knows the heart of everyone all the time. So he knew that today this special gopi, she has come and she wants to take my darshan. But Krishna cannot directly go there because he has a whole party. So what Krishna does is very interesting. He had a small calf next to him, and it lifts the tail of that calf and just pinches it. Some of you have an experience, right? If you pinch a calf's tail, what does it do? It starts jumping like this, right? So Krishna used that calf as like a remote toy. And this calf jumped and jumped and jumped, and it goes near that bush and just stops there. Of course, it's all Krishna's arrangement. And Krishna, as if he's trying to follow that calf, comes to that bush, and this gopi is standing there. Krishna removes his flute, touches that gopi with the flute, and then he stands in a Tribhanga form for just a fraction of a second and just leaves. Now this gopi is stunned, completely stunned. She has lost her consciousness, everything. And Krishna's party leaves, and they are in the forest. Everybody left, they went home, but this gopi is standing there behind the bush as if it's like a dead tree. After 2 hours, mother-in-law comes looking for the daughter-in-law for the first time. Where did she go? Did she leave home? Should I call 911? What is it going on, right? And she looks at her daughter-in-law, says, see, I told you you will be bitten by this black snake, and today it happened. So she starts shaking this young gopi, and she drags her to the home. And she gets a little bit of external consciousness, maybe 20%. She's still thinking about Krishna. So she tells Gopi, you know what? Forget about that black snake. At least now there is a pot of yogurts. Make some buttermilk. And this Gopi starts churning the pot for a buttermilk. And mother-in-law is thinking, this doesn't sound right. Because when you churn this buttermilk, it doesn't sound like this. And she goes and looks at it. So this Gopi, instead of a pot of yogurt, she had picked up the pot of mustard seeds. And she was churning and thinking that, oh, we'll get a buttermilk from the mustard seeds. And mother-in-law said, forget it, she's totally useless. Now go to the well, get some water and come back. So she puts 3 pots on her head and gives a rope on the left side, and on the right side she asks one of the young child to just follow her because she's not in consciousness. go to the well and get some water. Now, she goes to the well and she has to tie the rope to the pot, but instead of that, what does she do? She ties the rope to the young
child.
boy, and she's about to put him in the well. And all the gopis around there says, "Oh my God, this is another gopi who has joined our group. I think we know how to handle this." So they knew what to do when someone is totally into this type of mood, and she bring her back. So this is the mood of the devotees of Vrindavan. You know, there are three types of devotees. One is, those who are practicing, they are called sadhana bhakti, and those who are on a spontaneous platform, they are called bhava bhakti, and then those who are in the platform of love, prema bhakti. But in Vrindavan, there is a special group or special group of devotees. They are called ragatmika bhakti, and And ragatmika bhakti means they don't know about the position of Krishna. They don't know about this. They are in pure Krishna consciousness. And our goal, as per Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas, is to follow the footsteps of ragatmika bhaktas in Vrindavan. And if we do that, we are called as Raganuga Bhaktas. So that is our goal. So we should be thankful for Prabhupada to take us to the shelter or the footsteps of these special Vrindavan devotees called Raganuga. Next pastime is about Krishna and Balram. You know, we had a Balram Jayanti a few days back. So one day Balram goes to Krishna and says, "Krishna, today I want to become Krishna. Just for one day." Krishna says, "Really? You want to become me?" Balram says, "Yes, I want to become you one day." And Krishna says, "Fine." Then Balram says, "But I need two things from you to become Krishna." He says, "What?" "Yes, I need your peacock fan and I need your flute, because these are distinctive features of Lord Krishna." Krishna is very happy because he's the elder brother, he wants to become like me. Fine. As soon as Balram gets this, Balram wears a peacock feather and starts playing flute, and he was going around Vrindavan, happily that one day he's a Krishna. In the meantime, in Mathura, what happens is, Kamsa is thinking, "I sent so many demons, but today I'm going to send the most powerful demons." And his name was Kasi demon. And he's in the form of horse, Keshi demon, right? So Krishna tells his friend Keshi demon, "You go and kill Krishna." Then Keshi says, "I can do that, but can you tell me how does Krishna look like?" And Kamsa says, "Oh, it's very easy. He just wears a peacock feather and he has a flute." Keshi demon says, "Fine." So he goes to Vrindavan. Remember, that's the day Balram wanted to become Krishna. So Keshi demon comes to Vrindavan and he finds this boy with a flute and a peacock feather and just kicks him. And this kick was so powerful, it says that it can even kick 100 elephants at the same time. And Balram actually gets kicked and just flies and he falls in a ditch and totally unconscious. And Balram, after a few hours, gets up and thinks, "Oh my God, what happened to me? My back is hurting, everything is hurting." So Balram, crying, goes back to his home and tells Krishna, "Krishna, I had enough of your flute and the peacock feather, take this back. I don't want to become Krishna anymore." Krishna says, "Really? What happened?" "Oh, this Keshi demon came and the horse kicked me, I don't know why." And you know the story, right? Krishna takes care of the Keshi demon. We'll not get to that pastime. So, the moral of this story is, no one can become Krishna. Prabhupada says that. No one can become Krishna. Our greatest independence, we all celebrate Independence Day and all, right? Our greatest independence is to depend upon Krishna. That is our greatest independence. Our greatest freedom is to be bound by the love of Krishna. So that is, Krishna's position we can never ever take. Balram could have kicked his demon, But he was trying to teach us that we can never take that position. In 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says there are two types of people in this whole creation. Kshara and Akshara. Fallible and infallible. We are all fallible, right? And those who are liberated, they are in the spiritual world, they are called infallible, Akshara. But in the very next verse, Krishna says, beyond these two categories, there is one more person, just a single person. And he is known as Purushottam. Beyond the Kshara and Akshara. And then next verse Krishna says that I am that Purushottam. So what it means is we might be here in the material world, we might be in liberated state, but we can never ever take Krishna's position. It's not that at one point we can merge into Krishna, we become God. No. In fact, someone might ask, if Krishna's position is always taken, does that mean that we will never be able to, like we are always under suppression, that Krishna takes advantage of us? No. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita,
Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram Suhridam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shanti mrichati.
He said, Bhoktaram yagya tapasam. I am actually, Krishna says, I am the beneficiary of all yagya and tapasa, sacrifices and austerities. And I am the Sarva Loka Maheshwara. I am the controller of all locals and the demigods. And then says, I am Surud. Surud means I am the well-wisher of all the living entities. And Krishna says, if you understand this fact, you can be peaceful. You know, there's so much talk about being peaceful, right? Krishna says, you just understand this fact, you will be peaceful. So it's not that Krishna's position is there, we have to become Krishna. No. Our position also, we can be always peaceful. Peace formula. Alright. Next pastime. Are you guys ready for a couple of more pastimes? Okay. I was not sure whether we had enough of stories, but okay. The next pastime is happening in Varsana and it's called Mayur Kutir. How many of you been to Mayur Kutir in Varsana? Few of you, right? You must be nice. Mayur Kutir is the place where Krishna and Radha and Krishna, they dance like Mayur, means peacocks. And there are multiple occasions where Krishna and Radha, they dance like a peacock. But one such occasion is like, one day Krishna felt that I want to learn music. Some new melody, new tunes. You know, like we also feel like sometimes new melody. Krishna says, I want to learn. He knew that Srimati Radharani is the greatest singer. So Krishna tells Radharani, can you teach me some melodies, some music? Radharani says, seriously? Okay, I have a new student, let me teach. So she teaches him the music lessons. And Krishna would sing perfectly 90% of the time, and the last 10% of the melody, he will mess it up. And Radharani will say, oh, you just don't get it. Let me start again. Krishna would do the same thing. Go to the 90%, last 10%, mess it up. Why Krishna is doing this? He doesn't want the lessons to stop. Because if you sing perfectly, then lessons would stop. But Krishna doesn't want lessons to stop. So every time, he would mess up the last tune. Then, Radharani comes to know, oh, this is something not right. Krishna is playing with me. And she gets extremely angry with Krishna. I'm trying to teach you honestly, but you are playing with me. So she shows this transcendental anger. She says, Krishna, I'm not going to look at you. So she goes to a nearby place, it's called Man Mandir. She sits there. She said, Krishna, I'm not looking at you and I'm not going to talk to you. Now, Krishna has to deal with this domestic issue. Right? He has to deal with it. What do you do? So what to do? Krishna is thinking, how do I handle this situation? And Krishna gets an idea. So there is a small hill. Krishna climbs that hill and starts dancing like a peacock. And Radharani says, no, I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to look at it. And Krishna keeps dancing. Who can resist looking at Krishna's dance? So 1 hour, 2 hours pass. Then Radharani slowly turns her face and she starts looking at it. And after some time, Radharani says, forget of my anger. She joins Krishna and starts dancing with Krishna as a two peacocks, a peahen, and dancing beautifully. And Raghunath Das Goswami explains how they were dancing together as peacocks. So this pastime happened in Mayur Kutir. And few hundred years ago, a couple of hundred years ago, there was a sadhu who lived in Mayur Kutir. He was a blind man. He wanted to see this pastime, but he was blind. So he prays to Radharani and says, can I have this vision of this wonderful pastime of Krishna and Radha dancing as peacock? And Radharani appears in front of that person and says, I can do that, but with one condition. I will show you me and Krishna dancing in front of you, but you have to paint that pastime. And this man is saying, I am blind, how can I paint it? Radharani says, don't worry about it, you just make an endeavor, I will facilitate everything. So this blind man starts digging the ground, he gets some minerals, makes the paint, and then he goes, picks and makes the brush, and someone, of course Radharani's arrangement, brings a cloth and becomes a canvas. Then he feels, oh, I have everything now. Now I should start meditating on Srimati Radharani. And Radharani appears and she gives him a divine vision. See, our material eyes can see only certain things. But she gives a divine vision. And with that vision, he sees the entire pastime of Radha and Krishna dancing like peacock. And guess what? He paints that whole pastime on canvas. So even today, when you go to Mayur Kutir, on the altar, you will see this beautiful painting done by this sadhu, who is a blind man, of Radha and Krishna doing this beautiful dance of peacock. So the lesson, the moral of this story is, there is a very interesting verse in Nectar of Devotion. It says that our gross senses can do only so much. Our eyes and ears and this. There's so much we can do with the gross senses. But if we cleanse our these gross senses, and if we can awaken our spiritual senses, then we can do a lot. Which is that verse? Let's chant. Atava Sri Krishna
Namadi Avedgrahyam Indriyaye Sevan Mukhe Hi Jivado Swayameva Spuratyada.
So he said, Atha Sri Krishna Namadi Nam Bhavet Grahyam Indriya. These gross senses, we cannot understand Krishna. But Sevan Mukhe Hi Jivado, if we engage our senses in Krishna, then slowly these senses will get cleansed, and then we can do miracles. Like this blind man who did miracles. So that is what it means. So if we can engage our senses, we can do much more than what our gross senses can do. Alright? So the next pastime happens during the month of Kartik, on the day of Diwali. Very interesting pastime. And this is happening in a kunda known as Malyahara Kunda in Vrindavan. How many of you been to Malyahara Kunda? Yeah? Alright, so in Malyahara Kunda, on the day of Diwali, on the month of Kartik, Srimati Radharani, she has gathered there with her Sakhis, and they are stringing a pearl necklace. They have beautiful pearls. As soon as this meeting happens of Radharani and the gopis, the news goes to Krishna. Now how does the news goes to Krishna? Krishna has a lot of secret service agents. And these are not just the human beings, sometimes animals. For example, he has a Surabhi as a cow. He has Kalasavana as a swan. He has Tandavika as peacock. These are, of course, he loves a lot of peacock, but these are the top of the line. Like really. And he has two special parrots. They are known as Daksha and Vikakshana. These are very special, Krishna's special secret service agent. So in this particular pastime, Vikakshana parrot looks at Radharani and the Sakhi is doing the pearl necklace. So they go to Krishna and say, Krishna, they're doing pearl necklace. Krishna immediately comes to that place and tells, can I borrow some pearls because tomorrow is Govardhan Puja. And I have two special cows today, and they are Harini and Hapini. These are two cows Krishna brought. Say, I want to give them a pearl necklace. And this Gopi says, no way. We will not even give you one. Krishna says, give me at least few, 10, maybe 5. No, we will not even give you single necklace, pearl. And Lalita, one of the Sakis, she feels bad. She said, Krishna, I will give you one broken pearl. And Krishna feels so bad. And with so much tears in his eyes, he goes back to his home and tells his mother, Mother, can I have your pearls, whatever you have? Can you open the treasury and give all your pearls? The mother says, why do you want pearls? No, I want to grow a pearl garden. And mother starts laughing. You want to grow a pearl garden? You know that pearls are grown in the ocean, not in the garden. Krishna says, no, I have seen many people, they grow like seeds and then something comes out. So pearls also can come out. Yashoda says, no, pearls don't come from the garden, it's from the ocean. But Krishna was so adamant, he says, finally, forget it. So she gives all her pearls to Krishna and says, go and take it. So Krishna takes his Madhumangal and all the friends, he goes on the banks of Yamuna, he fancies and he said, this is going to be pearl garden. So he plants all the pearls in the garden and tells Madhumangal, since this is a special garden, we can't just water it. We have to put the milk, and only the pearls will come. So go to those gopis who are standing there, get the milk. So Madhumangal, poor Brahmin, goes to the gopis and he tells them, give me some milk. And gopis starts laughing. She says, what foolish when you have Krishna. Just tell there is no water, just go back. And Madhumangal comes back and tells Krishna, Krishna, I went for milk. All they gave is laugh. So what to do? So Krishna said, don't worry, let's go back to the Yashoda Maya. Like teenagers, they always try something, they always go back to the mother, right? So Krishna, same thing, goes back to the mother, says, I need milk. And Yashoda gives him milk. They pour the milk, and Krishna is happy. And after a week, a shoot comes out, green shoot. And Krishna is so happy. A green shoot has come from this garden. And all the gopis, they look at it, say, they laugh. Krishna, do you think this is a pearl shoot? This is actually weed. This is actually thorn. Krishna says, just wait for one more week. Just wait. Have a patience. And guess what? After a week, their garden is filled with all kinds of plants. And like so many plants filled with beautiful pearls. And these are not the regular pearls. Large sized pearls with different color. And on top of it, these are fragrant pearls. So entire Vrindavan had a fragrance of these pearls. And Krishna is so happy. Pearl garden has realized. Now, gopis are under tension. Now they are thinking. And Krishna is saying, your pearl is useless. Just throw it in the dustbin. Look at my pearls in the pearl garden. Now, gopis are thinking, now they are in a competitive mood. We have to do something, right? So they said, we will also do a bigger garden than Krishna. Don't worry about it. So they go home, all the gopis, and they bring a lot of pearls from their parents, and they find another garden, they plant it, and 3 times a day, they would put milk, yogurt, srikhand, whatever you want, because they want a pearl better than Krishna. After a week, same thing, shoot comes out, and they are saying, what? Same thing like Krishna. A week after, there will be pearls. And week after, all the weeds come out. Now Krishna is saying, see, I told you, you will not get the pearls. And gopis are under anxiety, what to do with this, And Krishna is now so happy, he is making the pearl necklace for all the cows in Vrindavan. Then still there are a lot of pearls in the garden, so he says, let's make pearl necklace for all the monkeys in Vrindavan, all the dogs. So everyone in Vrindavan are wearing necklaces of pearls except gopis. And Krishna is having a lot of fun. Now the time for surrender, right? Gopis have to do something. So who will go to Krishna and ask for some pearls? Because they have borrowed a lot of pearls from their parents, they have to return. So they sent two gopis. Their name is Chandramukhi and Kanchanalata. And they fill big pot with gold and silver and say, go to Krishna and get some pearls. Krishna looks at these pots of gold and says, this is useless. Even if you bring Kastuba money from Lord Narayan, I cannot even give you one pearl. Forget about this gold. He said, go back. So all the gopis, then they bring so many other things, jewelry and the grains and this, that. Krishna doesn't give even single pearl. And then Krishna tells one of the gopis, I will spare one small pearl for your Radharani, provided she is ready to pay me what I asked for, and if she doesn't pay, she will go into the prison. And he doesn't pay what he wants from her. Then gopis say that forget it, this is a total loss. We have to somehow, so they leave that place, which is Malahara, and they go to Radhakund. And they start thinking about what to do. But the thing is, anyone takes the shelter of Radhakund or Shyamkund, right? Krishna is extremely merciful. Because gopis went back to Radhakund, Krishna's heart melted. And he says, let's stop this whole pastime. Raghunath Das Goswami actually gets into a lot of details about how this dialogue happens between them. Then Krishna makes a pearl necklaces for all the gopis, and gopis in return they give him all the garlands and all. And this happens in Vrindavan. So this is the pastime of Krishna growing a pearl garden in Vrindavan. Now one might ask, why Krishna is doing this? What does he have to do? Why is Krishna doing all this type of pastime? Satyavat Muni actually explains this in the third verse of Damodarashtakam, which we generally chant in Kartik month. So let's chant that verse and we understand why Krishna is doing this type of pastime.
Iti Driksalila Bhirananda Kunde Swahosham Nimajantam Akhyapayantam Tadiyeshu Daneshu Bhaktaitatvam Gunademata Samsata Vrittibande.
He says, Satyavat saying, Krishna is doing all this type of pastime because Swagosham means that he wants to take this the resident devotees of Vrindavan. He wants to nimanjan them. He wants to drown them in Ananda Kunda, in pools of ecstasy. In other words, he wants to give them pleasure all the time. That's all. Krishna says, Pritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chadushkita. Gives the pleasure. Otherwise, Krishna doesn't have to do all this pastimes. So that's the beauty of Krishna. So I will conclude with last, 6 o'clock, one last pastime. And there are many of them. I cannot do it, but one last pastime, which is not about Krishna, but Krishna's deity. Krishna and Krishna's deity, there is no difference because he is Sachidan in the root of Krishna. So the last pastime which I am going to discuss, it happened in Dwarkadish temple in Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, in the Dwarkadish temple, there was a sweeper who would sweep the floor all day. And one day he was thinking, Krishna, Dwarkadish, every day so many people come, they ask for benediction, you must be so tired of job. You know what, tomorrow I want to give you a time off. Let me become a Dwarkadish and you become a sweeper. Krishna says, alright, you become a Dwarkadish tomorrow and I will become a sweeper. But with one condition, whatever happens in the temple, don't interfere because there are a lot of things behind this, don't think that you are under control. A lot of things. You just stand on the altar, smile and give a benediction. Sweeper says, fine. So next day, the sweeper becomes the Dwarkadish and Dwarkadish becomes the sweeper. So the first morning, curtains open, in a Mangalarti, everything is done. And the first person who enters the temple room is a merchant, rich merchant. And he's paying obeisances to the Lord. In this case, he's a sweeper, And when he was paying obeisances, his wallet just falls on the ground. And then the sweeper thinks, Dwarkadish, oh, I should tell that your wallet is there. But then he says, remember, Krishna told me not to interfere in anything. He keeps quiet, smiling, and giving that. And this merchant just gets up and leaves the temple. After some time, an old Brahmana comes, Brahmin, very poor. He had just one coin, last coin. He doesn't have a lot of money. He gives that puts that in the hundi, pays obeisances and tells Krishna, I really want to do a lot of things for you. I want to cook bhoga for you. I want to get some new dress for you, but I have no money. If you really desire that, then give me some money. I will use in your service. And then he pays obeisances and gets up. As soon as he gets up, what does he see? The wallet. And then, oh, Krishna, you gave me the money. He is very happy. And now this sweeper thinks, should I interfere or not? As a Dwarkadish. He said, no, let me keep quiet. Then the third person who enters is the sailor. Sailor comes to tell Krishna, today I'm going on a boat ride with all my, he's like so many things. Please help me so that my journey becomes very successful, and then all these things, please pray. Now when he was praying to Krishna like this, sailor, the first merchant who had lost his wallet, he enters the temple room with a couple of police people. He says, and he enters, and the police, they look at the temple. There's only one man inside the temple, who is the sailor. They think this man must have stolen the wallet, so they catch him. And they drag him. And the sailor says, I didn't steal the wallet for money. No, you are the only person in the temple, and they are dragging. Meanwhile, this on the altar, people think this is too much. I just cannot handle. I have to interfere. And the deity starts talking. He says, hold on. He is not the person who stole this money, but the Brahman who is outside. Because he felt that is what I need to do. So the police people, okay, that's what it is. And then they leave this sailor, catch hold of the Brahmin, and they take him to the prison. That night, he tells Krishna, Krishna, I had enough of your job. Take this back. But then he explains what happened with a lot of pride, because he thought that Krishna will thank him for doing that. And Krishna says, I told you not to interfere. You are interfering with my job. Do you know what was happening there? He said, what was happening? This merchant who came, he made all this money illegally, and he has so much karma. I intentionally made sure that his wallet fell down, because if that money can be used for my service, at least I could reduce his karma a little bit. That was my intention. And then this poor Brahmin who came, I made sure that he gets wallet, because this rich merchant's money can be used by this poor Brahmin in my service, so that the merchant gets Sukriti, some Sukriti. And the sailor, I made sure that he gets arrested tonight, because there is a bad weather. You would have capsized his boat and you would have died. And you messed up the whole plan. Now, that merchant didn't give money for my service. The Brahmana went to prison, and the sailor is going to die. So what did he do? So this is what. When we take the shelter of Krishna, sometimes calamities might come in our life. Sometimes we might lose money like the merchant, or sometimes we might gain money like that Brahman, or we might have to go to prison, or something legal issue. But we have to understand, if we surrender to Krishna properly, then Krishna is in charge of our destiny. So Krishna has a plan for all of us. All we have to do is take shelter of Krishna. So this Janmashtami, which is coming up on Wednesday, let's pray to Krishna. Whatever we ought to do, maybe we have to do a little bit of more sadhana, or maybe we have to change our lifestyle a little bit, or maybe I have to change my attitude a little bit. Whatever it is, I'm not in a position to do it, but let's pray to Krishna. Krishna, please help me, and I want to surrender to you. With that mood, let us celebrate Sri Krishna Janmashtami. Hare Krishna. So let us thank Shyamkund Prabhu. The loud Haribo! 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 For a very sweet pastime from Vrindavan and taking us back to the Holy Land. And it's a nice way for us to prepare our hearts for the upcoming festival. So please make a note this Wednesday, Janmashtami, and the next day is appearance day of Srila Prabhupada, the double header always. So if you possible, take some time off from your work to help out. It will be good to take both those days off, Wednesdays and Thursday. This way you can also kind of rest because the party is going to go on till 1 o'clock at night on Wednesday night. And it's a great way to kind of celebrate the midnight arti and all that. So if you still like to sponsor, we still have the Kalash sponsorships available, $501 and $1,001 for silver and gold. So please let us know, still a few days left. So the prasadam will be served outside. And tonight we'll need some extra help in downstairs kitchen because, well, we have extra special feast that was prepared. And so if you have some time later on, please join us about 6:50 or 7 p.m. And there's a pot washing festival going on downstairs. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. And then, of course, there's the evening aarti here, right after prasadam at around 7 o'clock, 7:15. Oh, yes. Oh, before you leave, the quick announcement. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to let all the parents know that registration for Sunday school is open. I can send the link if you want to register. It's open.